Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Dan from DHTV, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the iPhone 10 camera so you can take the best photos possible. Now we're going to be going over some of the basics, but we're also going to go over some of the cool features and new abilities. If you missed any of the previous iPhone 10 videos, there's a link in the description. You can definitely check that out. Let's get started. To start things off, let's go ahead and open up the camera app here. And as you can see, I'm already on the new portrait mode. Now I have my settings set up to open up to the last mode that I was using, but to navigate between them, you just swipe left and right. What we're gonna do is go over everything with the iPhone 10 camera, but I wanna start out with some of the new features, and the first one being portrait mode. So the way portrait mode works is pretty simple. You can just tap and you can start scrolling along here and you can go through the portrait wheel and it'll change things up depending on the setting. Now you can do this live or you can do this after you've taken the photo. So for example, if I flip it to the front facing camera, you can see me. I can move between all of these modes. Let's see if it'll even pick it up. If I do take the photo, let's just take it in natural light here. I'll take the photo. It'll load. We can take a look at it in our Photos app, and if we tap Edit, we can actually modify this. So for example, going through it all, and you can see you can add those effects after. So just to show you what each one does, I'm going to go through one of the pictures I already took. That one was pretty nice. We'll take a look at this one here, and we'll just set it back to the natural light. So starting things off, natural light, all this is going to do is blur the background. You can see when you take a photo in general, this is how it's going to look. Clear, clear, clear all through it. When you add the portrait, it's going to blur out the background, giving you a natural look and focusing on the subject. The next option, if we just scroll to it, is called Studio Light. And you can see that it brightened things up a little bit. What it's trying to do is even out the lighting, very similar to if you were in a studio. So you have lighting strategically placed all around on the subject, and it creates this type of effect. The next one is a contour light. This one here is similar to Studio, but it's going to take that lighting and add shadows and try to bring forward some of the curves or jaw lines or cheekbones to push them forward to give you that more defined look. Moving to the next option here, we have stage light. I really like these stage light options here. For example, this one here gives you that stage look where the spotlight is on the subject who's the front and center, and you can see everything else in the background is kind of hidden in the shadows and blacked out. Same thing with the last option. It's the same effect, but it's pulling all the color out of the photo, giving you this really nice black and white photo. Once again, this can be done either in the application itself after you've taken the photo or in the Photos app live. Flip back and we'll move into some of the other options. Now let's swipe to the right to activate and access our photo section here. And what we'll do first is just take a look at some live filters here. Again, these filters can be modified after the fact, after you've taken the photo or live. And Apple introduced a few new ones here so you can actually go through each one. Let's just select this one here for now. It's a dramatic warm. And then we'll just take our photo by tapping on the shutter here. And that's pretty much how you take a photo. Now you saw that it just said live at the top there. Live photos, what it means when we tap on our photo here and we press and hold, it's going to show you any movement. So we'll just take a general photo without any filters on it here. And what I'm gonna do is move my hands around like this and I'm gonna take the photo. So what it does is take about a second prior and a second after the photo. So if we tap and look at the photo in our Photos app, but we press and hold on the photo, you can see we have some movement there. So that's just going to give you that live photo effect. Now, if you do tap the edit button on any one of these live photos, look at what you can do here now. You can actually choose which section of that photo you want to make live. So the problem that a lot of people have when they take photos is people blink and some people aren't smiling. So if you take a photo with live photos on, you have a good chance here of finding the perfect moment of that photo. So definitely look into that as well. We'll just tap cancel and we'll move back to our Photos app. A general photo with the iPhone is taken with the shutter down here. Now you have some options that you can use and do before you take the photo. For starters, tap to focus. You just simply tap on the section or the person you want to focus on. And when you do tap, you can lock the focus on any section as well. It's simple, just tap and hold on the section. You'll get this option at the top that it's locked. And to remove the lock, just simply tap anywhere else. It'll go back to its standard section. Now, if you are going to lock the focus or even tap to focus, you can see there's a little sun icon. This is brightness. So we can actually adjust the brightness, swipe up to make it brighter, swipe down to make it darker. Whenever you like how it looks, you can take your photo and it'll save it to your photo stream. Additionally, you can zoom in. You can see that we now have this 1 times down here. You can tap on that. It'll give you 2 times, back to 1. You can also pinch to zoom if you want to go in even further. So that's another option. Whenever you're ready, you can take that photo like normal. Now, if we move up to the top here, we do have some options. We have a timer. So this is great if you're taking photos with people and you want to be in the photo. You can set it to 3 seconds. Take your photo. You'll see you'll get a counter at the bottom there. It'll take the photo. So if you have to run to the other side, you'd set it to 10. We'll turn it off. And then we have the live photo option. Now I showed you how it works a little bit earlier. If you tap on it, you can turn it off, which means the photo you take is going to be the photo that happens. So any movement will not be recorded. Some people don't like the effect of having the live photo. And then on the left, we have our flash. Now it's set to auto. You can turn it on or off. And a cool feature with the flash is that when it notices that you need the flash, it's actually going to show you a little flash icon at the top there. Moving along, you will just take a look at Square, because it's pretty much the same as the photo app. You can see that you have all the options that we did with the photo. It's just going to be in a square. You don't get live photos with square photos, but if you want to take these, maybe for Instagram or anything like that, you can definitely do so. You can flip to the front-facing camera at the bottom here, and this can be done in many of the options as well. If I just flip to portrait mode, you can see we can work with the front, work with the front, work with the front. Some of the options like slow-mo as well as pano aren't going to give you that option to flip to the front. And then lastly, we have this option here, which we took a look at, which allows you to see your photo stream and modify any photos that you'd like. So let's move back and we'll take a look at videos now. And video is a very popular option here with the iPhone camera. Again, you can tap to zoom in. You have the same options, tap to focus, and you can set the brightness if you'd like. You can also lock the focus if you want to as well in the video. You can see that at the top. Pretty much the same thing. You just tap and it'll begin recording here. While you're recording, you can actually zoom in and out of subjects. You can tap here on this little shutter to take a photo. When you're done, you can click stop. We'll take a look at the settings at the end. As always, the settings, if you want to modify this, you can record in 4K, 1080p, and at different frame rates as well. Lastly, if you want to turn on a light, you can do so at the top. You can set it to auto, so it'll generally choose when it turns on or off. You can set it to on, which will turn the flash on. You can see it's brightening up in the background. There you go. You can see that it's on right there. We'll just turn it off for now. I don't really use that unless I have to. And honestly, to get the best photos and video, you want to try to get natural light or find the brightest area in the room. And you want to have the light flashing down on the subject rather than behind. Moving to the slow-mo. Now, this is going to create this really bad effect here. So I'm going to turn off my lights. Hopefully it doesn't do that. I'm going to try to tap to focus here. And slow-mo is going to give you an effect of really good slow motion. So if you're like doing a really cool skateboarding stunt or something, you can get that effect. So I'm going to turn this on here. We'll just take a recording of the slow-mo shot. And what I'll do is just drop this. We'll hit stop. And now if we take a look at it in our Photos app here, just turn the lighting back on, we can play this. Now the flashing that we're seeing here is due to the lighting in the office. So unfortunately I can't do anything about it. I'm gonna be getting some new lighting now. But there you go, you get that super slow-mo effect. And you can actually modify the slow motion options as well. So we'll just hit stop. And I'll show you that in the settings application a little bit later as well. Let's just fix the subject here. We'll use it like this now. Moving over to the right, one more time here, we have a time lapse. Now I'm just going to switch over to an actual time lapse. I did this on the iPhone 8, but pretty much you're going to get those cool effects like in movies where you can turn day to night, or even seasons changing where it goes from fall to winter or anything like that. It looks really cool and it's a really cool option. Now the last option in the Photos app here, if we just scroll all the way back, we have Pano. Now this is a panoramic option which allows you to grab a huge amount of real estate into one photo, and you can see the arrow. So how it works is simple. You're just going to guide it across here
like so. So we'll start from here, and I'm just gonna tap the pano icon. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start from here, and I'm gonna move across, and you're gonna see that we're gonna gather all of this into one photo. So we'll tap on pano, and we'll move it across here, and you can see because I have this tripod sort of stand here, it's gonna be pretty good. I'll tap stop. Now if we take a look at the photo, there it is. You can see that everything fits in screen here, and we can zoom into it. You can see, look how big that photo is. You can really make some nice photos. So that's pretty much it for the camera app. If you want to see some more in-depth options with the camera app, there's a link in the description to my iPhone 8 camera tutorial where I go through everything a little bit more detail. But for now, let's go through some of the settings here. So open up your settings app and tap camera, and this is going to allow you to add and change up the settings that you use with your iPhone camera. Now, because this is iPhone 10, we're going to go specifically with what the iPhone 10 offers here. If you're using the iPhone 8, maybe a little bit different. But first off, the preserve settings. Now, this is how I have mine set up. I like to have it preserve the last setting that I'm in. So the camera mode. So you saw when I started the iPhone video here that when I opened the camera app, it automatically set to portrait mode. That's because I like to have the last mode open. So you tap this here, turn that on, it'll do that. So if you've had video open last, when you open the camera, next time it'll open in video. Same thing with filter and lighting and live photo options as well. Next we have grid. I turn this on now, and basically this is going to give you some grid lines here. I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up. You can kind of see it. It's going to go across and up and down like that. I use this mainly to keep things straight in my photos. So if you want the grid, you can. Then we have scan QR codes. If you want that feature on by default, turn it on because the iPhone camera now can actually scan QR codes from billboards and even from other phones. So it's a good feature to have on if you do actually scan QR codes from time to time. The next options are the record options. Default options for the iPhone camera are 1080 at 30 frames per second. But if you do want to change them up, you can. You can see you have all the options here as well. So we will just go to 4K at 60 frames per second here because that's the best option. You are going to get some estimates down here of how much space it's going to use up. But when you do set it to anything other than the default and you open your camera app here, in the video section, you'll see at the top right the quality you're recording in. Same thing goes with the other setting here for the slow-mo. We'll tap on that. The default here is actually 1080p at 240. So if we change that to the 120 option, again, you have estimates here. We'll open the camera app and go to our slow-mo. We can now see we're recording at HD at 120 frames per second. Back to the settings application. We'll go back to camera here. We have formats. So by default, it's set to high efficiency here. And basically, I'll just read you the description. To reduce the size, capture photos and videos in the high efficiency format. Most compatible will always use JPEG, but 4K at 60 frames per second and 1080p at 240 frames per second require high efficiency. So if you want to activate and use those options, high efficiency must be on. Otherwise, you can just set it to most compatible. So that's pretty much it for the settings app. Now let's just go over some other options and what the buttons can do for you. Now, in terms of some general tips here with the iPhone camera, you can hold it like this and take your photos just by tapping the button. You can also use burst mode, which is just holding on the button here, and you can see it took about 14 pictures. If we open up the edit option, we have bursts at the top here. You can do the same thing when you're in this mode here. Now, if you hold the phone like this is the way you actually take the photo. It's a little bit odd because the camera is actually going to be at the bottom of the phone, but this is the correct way to hold it. If you hold it the other way and take photos, they may come out upside down when you upload them to your computer or to different applications. But what you do is you just focus in on what you're trying to take the photo of. So for example, we'll tap there and we'll press on the volume rocker here. It'll take our photo. You can do burst photos as well just by holding on the volume rocker like that. All the features still work the same way. You're just using this as your shutter button rather than this. And at this time, you can also use this button if you prefer as well. Now, in terms of enhancing what you have here, I have the front-facing camera on. You can use other products, things like this. Now, this is a super wide-angle lens, but you can actually use macro lenses, which are good for zooming, as well as fisheye lenses like this. I'll link you to these in the description. I'm just going to show you how this works with the front-facing camera here. So we've got, you can see me in the photo here. All you do is clip these on like this, and look how much wider it's now getting. Now, the camera lens is a little bit dirty, but you can see it's grabbing so much more real estate in the photo. I'll pull it off. You can see how much it actually grabbed. So the wide angle, really good like that, especially if you want to grab more, if you're doing live streams from your phone or you want to make it more professional, you can definitely find these lenses. Now I'll link you in the description to the both of these types of lenses, all three of them actually, but for the iPhone 10 as well as iPhone 8 or older device versions if you're looking for that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this one. I'll be posting a ton more iPhone 10 and iPhone 8 videos. If you want to see something specific, let me know in the comment box as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I try to respond to every comment that comes my way. And if you're feeling awesome, share the video with your friends. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.